We're proceeding on with the 24th lesson tonight, and I appreciate you and thank you for joining. Any questions or comments, please email us at Tom or Sid at tom@drrenfro.com or sid@drrenfro.com, because iron sharpens iron, and I'd like your comments as well as any thoughts that the Lord's been giving you. Noah's still in the ark right now. It's now been almost a year. In fact, it's the 601st year. The flood came in the 600th year. And now Noah looks out the ark and he starts to see dry land. But he stays in the ark until the second month on the 27th day, until the Lord tells him to go forth. You know, a lot of times we look around like Noah did, and it seems like it's dry. It seems like it's time to go. It seems like the thing to do. But a lot of times, if we just hold back and wait on the direction of the Lord, then the fullness and the completeness of God's plan will be revealed, and we will march right into it. I guess Saul would like to have done that instead of offering those sacrifices prematurely, to wait on the Lord. And when Noah came out, he was the last person to get on the ark, the 8th person, but he was the first person off. So the 8th person that went on the ark came off first, and it was a new beginning. And that's what the number 8 represents. It represents a new beginning, and he's walking into a brand new, cleansed, baptized earth, so to say. And even the flood represents the death, burial, and resurrection, the death of all the life on the earth, the burial under the flood, and now it's the resurrection, so to say, of life coming back literally to the earth, and the reappearance of man. And the first thing that this new man does on planet Earth, on, I guess, the new earth, is he starts building an altar. And he offers us sacrifices unto the Lord for the blessings that God has kept him through this past year. Now I want you to spend a little time and think with me about altars for a minute. You know, an altar is the place where you want to meet God at. You know, in the Garden of Eden, it was God that would come down to Adam and Eve in the cool of the day. But now on this new planet, when we want to meet with God, we literally build an altar toward the places where we meet God over the sacrifice. This was the first altar ever built, was the one that Noah built. And it's a place that you prepare where you want to meet God. And it's also an elevated place, a special place in your heart that where you want to meet God at. And it's specifically the place where you place your sacrifice on. And you know, God wants to be, he wants to be called on through the blood of the Lamb, so to say. It's where you put the innocent sacrifice, and it's where the innocent must die for the guilty. We're the guilty wanting to meet a holy and righteous God. And it's the altar where we meet over the blood of the innocent sacrifice. And you know, Jesus said in John chapter 14 and verse 6, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man comes unto the Father but by me. What's he talking about? He says, you want to meet me? You want to meet with God? I am the way to meet God himself. You want to know the truth? There is no other gods but me. And I will lay my life down. I am that life, that through the innocent blood that I will spill upon the earth, you can come over my sacrifice into the presence of a holy and righteous God. Folks, it just establishes the concept, which points directly at Jesus Christ, that the blood of the innocent must be shed, and the life is in that blood must be given for us to come into the presence of God himself. And when you look at the rest of Genesis chapter 8, let me turn the page over here. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and every clean fowl, and burnt offered burnt offerings to the Lord. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. What's that about? The imagination of man's heart is evil from its youth. He's talking about the nature of man. The nature of a fallen man is continually evil. And let me give you an example of it. And if you take a beautiful, innocent child, you know, the child, when you think about it, they're beautiful and they need our help. But a child is pretty selfish because it wants what it wants when it wants. Even a little baby, when it's hungry, will immediately start crying out and continue to cry until it's satisfied. An innocent child is purely in the flesh because it's demanding. It's somewhat selfish and it wants satisfaction now. Even as an adult, isn't that what our flesh wants? It wants what it wants, when it wants, as much of it as it can have, irregards to everybody else. But what happens is because of our understanding of the Lord and our relationship with God, and part of the responsibility of being a parent is to train a child, to teach a child that it's not about you anymore. It's more about everybody around you. You can take 2-year-olds and put them in a room together, and they will hold on to their toy, even walk over and take a toy away from somebody else, because that is the nature of that child, of man. But the parent says, you need to learn to share. You need to learn to share with other people. And that is the beginning of making someone realize that life is simply not about you. It's really about everybody around you. And that's what I think that statement means. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. And the Lord said he'll never smite the earth again with a flood and wipe out everything. While earth remaineth, seed time, harvest, and cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Folks, this world is not going to be destroyed by man because we got a promise here from the Lord. And people, I've heard it said, and there's been quotes, and I can't quote who said it, but basically they said that believers don't have questions and non-believers are never satisfied with any answers.